Hello friends, happy Monday. Welcome to my live. And if you happen to be watching later, welcome to my replay. My name is Robin and I'm with Robin's Egg Blue Creations, and I'm also an independent designer with Couture. Once you hop on this evening, say hi in the comments, tell me where you're watching from, tell me what the weather's like in your neck of the woods. It's kind of been a rainy, dreary day in central Kansas, but I will take it because we had spring-like weather. It was almost 80 degrees yesterday, so it was a beautiful day. So after that day, I will take the rain. So I also want to let you know that I am streaming live in 3 locations this evening using an online platform called StreamYard. So I am live on my Facebook business page, I am live on my YouTube channel, and I'm also live in my private Facebook group. And I tell you that because that way, if you hear me refer to a comment that you don't see in your comment feed, that viewer may be watching from a different platform. And also, if you're watching from my private Facebook group, please give StreamYard access to your profile name and pic by clicking the link in the description of the video. That way you show up in my comments under your profile name instead of Facebook user, and then I know who to say hi to. Speaking of saying hi, I see that Bonita is on, and I also see that Jason is on. He's watching from the other side of the door, so welcome. And I think we will go ahead and get started. So I'm just looking over at my computer so that I can flip my camera angle. So I am going to be using, I'm stuck on something on the floor. So I have this palette sign that I made out of 5-gallon paint sticks. So I just took 4 paint sticks, actually 5, and I cut one of them into a few little smaller pieces, and I used those to brace the back. I just used wood glue and I let them set up overnight, and so far so good. I've even mailed a few and they have stayed intact. So I painted it white, and then I've also gone ahead, I've sanded in a few spots already. I added a little bit of dark wax, and then we will go ahead and use a clear wax to seal the whole board before I chalk on it. And speaking of chalk, I'm going to be using this size C transfer. It is a reusable silkscreen transfer from Couture. So because it's reusable, I'm going to flip it over and write the name of the transfer on the back. That way, if I'm using multiple transfers and I go to clean them, I know that this transfer goes on this backer sheet, and that this is the back side, so that I don't stick it on upside down. So if you've ever stuck a sticker to a piece of paper and then tried to peel it off, that is what happens if you stick a transfer to the wrong side of the backer sheet. You'll also note that this transfer has several cut lines or score lines. So you can cut your transfers apart. Actually, you can cut them apart however you want. But the score lines are kind of a guideline as to where the company suggests that you cut them apart. So I like to keep my backer sheet intact so I don't have a bajillion backer sheet pieces laying all over the place. So I just lift up the edge of my transfer, and then I just take my scissors and I score down that cut line. It doesn't have to be perfect. So again, just lifting it up, and I'm just scoring down that score line. Okay. So there, it's all apart. Okay, so now that I have that cut apart, like I said before, I used a dark wax in some of the places that I had already kind of distressed and sanded down the edges. But now I want to put a clear coat down because this is painted wood. And this clear wax will just kind of create a barrier between my painted surface and the transfer so that my transfer doesn't stick so hard that it pulls up paint, or that it sticks so hard that it distorts the silkscreen material and stretches it out so it's not usable again. So I just have this little wax applicator. You can also use a scrap t-shirt. Couture does sell a wax. I believe it is out of stock right now. My particular tub of wax that I got from Couture is really hard. I think I got a bad batch, and I didn't get it replaced because they're really good about replacing stuff like that. So I still use it, but it's kind of hard because it's difficult to use because it's kind of hard and crumbly. So I'm using this Minwax this evening. So I'm just rubbing it in. And then I'm going to use the clean side of my wax applicator to kind of buff it out. And I could go even a little farther. And I can heat the wax up with either a hair dryer or my quick dry tool, just to kind of heat that wax up and make it a little more pliable, so that it kind of just seeps right into some of those grooves. So that wax is going to kind of fill in some of those uneven places that I still might have, even though I sanded the board fairly smooth. It's still going to have a few little lumps and bumps. So I'm just buffing that wax in to get it into any of those uneven spaces. It feels like butter. It's very shiny now, shiny and smooth. It's kind of what it feels like once you get it all buffed in. Okie doke. So I'm going to use the Come On In. And I think I'm just going to use this portion. And I don't think I'm going to use the border. And then I think I'm going to use the Come On In. And I don't know whether I want to use the Glad You're Here or the And Stay a While. So I got to figure that out. I think I like the Glad You're Here. So I just need to figure out how much space I need to save. Just really technically just eyeballing it. That leaves me, excuse me. Okay, so the C comes down to there. So if I can drop it down a little more. Okay, I think I've got it figured out. We're just going to wing it. So I'm bringing in my fuzz towel because this is a brand new transfer and I'm using it on a painted surface. I want to fuzz it really well. Also notice that because it's a larger transfer, I'm peeling the backer sheet off of the transfer versus peeling the transfer off of the backer sheet. Just a helpful little tip there. If you try it the other way, 9 times out of 10, your transfer will fold up on itself. And it's not the end of the world, but it's not very good. If that does happen, take it to a water source, run it under some lukewarm water, and gently peel the sticky sides away from each other. You can salvage the transfer, just don't panic. So I'm just fuzzing this. So I'm putting it down on this terry cloth towel, just laying down some fuzz, literally, hence the term fuzzing. because I don't want my transfer to peel up any of my paint, and I don't want it to stick so hard that it distorts or stretches the transfer. So I'm actually using the border to kind of line it up with the edge of the sign. I need to go up just a tad. And then I don't normally measure, but I'll just do it for fun. 1.5. And I'm not worried about this side of the sign. I'm more, because this will have my bow, so technically I'm just pretending that this right here is the end of my sign. Probably come over just a little bit, but oh, nope, that's pretty good. That's almost perfect. I do have a big lump right here where one of my palette boards is wonky, but we'll have to play with that. Before I totally burnish it down, I'm going to bring in this other transfer just to kind of see what kind of spacing I have. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this back on there. I don't need it for right now. So I'm going to really burnish it down the silk screen area where it says come on in. And I see it here. Peel that off. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure it's down really well. And I'm probably going to do some boring colors, but I have some ribbon here that I was going to use. So I was toying with doing a mixture of storm and black. So I could do come on in. I could do one in black and one in gray or storm. Maybe since this is larger, I should do it in storm and the glad you're here in black. I think I might do that. Hey, Miss Ashley, how are you? Okay, let's get a stir stick and see. Oh, it looks drier than it actually is, so that's pretty good. Okay, so I think we'll do storm on the come on in, and again, I'm not doing I need to reach here, Mom. My tape's clear over here. I'm not going to do that border, but I have a tendency to forget and get to going too fast. You survived today, your first day back from spring break? No, we took, Jason and I took Friday off. And Jason took a half day. Although we weren't playing or vacationing, we did clean the house, which it desperately needed, but just even having that one day off made it hard to go back to work today. But we survived. I bet going back after a week would be really hard. I haven't had to do that for a long time. Okie doke. So I'm just grabbing a large squeegee. I could also use, this is the new angled squeegee. This is the old angled squeegee, which this one is my favorite one. Although I don't know if I really want to, we'll try it. It's my favorite one. It pushes a lot of paste around in a quick amount of time. So we'll just use it. So I'm just dipping my squeegee into the paste container. So this is just liquid chalk. It goes on wet, it dries semi-permanent. So I'm just going to drag it down the silk screen area, trying to be light-handed where I do have these noticeable ridges where my paint sticks meet. And actually, I'm going to flip it over so that way I'm going away from where I don't want to chalk. That kind of helps me remember where I need to go and where I need to stay away from. Just dragging my paste down that silk screen area. Here's where I have those big ridges. So I need to be kind of light-handed and not going all willy-nilly. Okay, a couple more, few more letters. Trying to go slightly quick so that that side of my paste does not dry before I'm done with this end. Because if it dries in the silkscreen material, when you go to pull it up, it will pull up the chalk paste. And that is super sad when that happens. Okay, so let's see. We have a big mess. And remember, this transfer is very distressed already. So it won't look perfect because it is it's distressed on purpose. Looks pretty good. I have some goopy parts on this end and this eye. I don't know if you can see where a lot of that paste is pulled up there. I'm going to dry it, and then I might try to figure out a way to smooth that out. But I'm not going to do it while it's wet because that will just make a bigger mess. So make sure before you leave that you heart the video, like, subscribe, spread the chalk love all over Facebook. Ashley says she got happy mail from Couture. You can't wait to see. You can't wait to do some projects. I've gotten a couple of orders. I have about a bajillion projects I need to either start or finish. But I had the hardest time coming up with a project for this evening. I wanted something that was quick but cute. So I came up with this. I've had this transfer for a while and I've never used it. And Benita, I have not forgot about your 2 transfers. I had them with me today, but I didn't want to get out in the rain, so hopefully, I know it's supposed to rain again tomorrow, but I'll definitely get them to you tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can dry some of that pulled up paste. Might be dry enough. Let me see if I have some toothpicks. I have toothpicks, but I don't know where on earth in this craft room they are. That's usually the... I could let's try the pokey end of the detail tool and see. So this is the little detail tool. I'm just going to try to... I don't even know if that's the best thing to do either. Let's try... These two come in the artist toolkit. So one is a pointed end squeegee and one is kind of it's like a foam tip. Benita says, no worries. Phew. Yeah, it's going to end up making a mess. It's not dry, so I'm literally just taking it off. Let's see if I can maybe smush some of that down. I may have to go back in and fix all that. Well, I've managed to take it completely off, which isn't a terrible thing. Of course, where I want to take it off, it probably won't come off. So I've scratched it from in between the letters. Yeah, I think I just need to let it dry some more because it's still pretty wet right there. So we will move on. We'll do that later. So now I'm going to get my fuzz towel out again. And we're going to add the Glad You're Here portion. And I think I'll do that in black. We're kind of going for a little neutral farmhouse kind of look. When in doubt, go farmhouse. Kind of neutral palette. If I were doing this for my house, I probably would have used like a dark navy blue and curry. Like the old Midnight Sky and the curry are my two of my favorite colors. Along with Storm. But sadly, both of those are retired. So I'm just lining up the two lines, the two little embellishment lines, kind of with the end of my letters from the come on in. And I'm kind of lining the bottom up with the bottom of the sign. So I'm just going to make sure it's adhered well. And I think we're going to use black. That. I like the consistency of that black, but it's going to dry up on me before I'm done. I have one that's really wet, and so I try to avoid that one if I can. So I'm just using a mini squeegee now. And I'm just going to dip it in the chalk paste. I try not to get a whole lot because I usually end up making a mess with black. And because I have these ridges right here, I may try to go side to side. I don't know if that's going to help on some of those ridges. Keep it whirl and we'll try it. Get a little bit more chalk paste. And I can put the excess back in my jar, and I just flung black everywhere. So now I'm just kind of evening everything out. And I got a thing of black right there. I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, so let's pull this off slowly. I didn't get that G very well. Looks pretty good. Okay. I'm just putting that in my water. I'm going to set this clear over here to dry. Hopefully it doesn't fall. And we're going to clean the transfers really quick. Just because I don't want them sitting over here for very long. So I just have this metal basting roasting tray because this transfer is a little bit longer for this set of transfers. Get a board eraser. Board erasers are back in stock. I just saw that a little bit ago when I was creating the cart link. So if we're wanting some, I would highly suggest if you're putting in an order to always add in some board erasers because they are invaluable when it comes to cleaning your boards and your transfers. So this is the board eraser, very similar to a magic eraser, but from what I'm told, magic eraser has some sort of chemical in it. I don't know. But this doesn't. So I flipped it up, paste side up. I'm going to hold it on one end so that I'm not stretching my transfer. And I'm just going to wipe all of that chalk paste off. Go ahead and snag this. So I'm going to take it out of the water. I'm going to do the same thing. Of course, you can't see very well. And just continuing to wipe it. And then I'm just kind of rubbing it on the bottom of the tub, paste side down just to get some of that off. And then again, flipping it up, using my board eraser to get off as much of that chalk paste as I can. You may notice some staining. Black, red, green. Black and red mostly are the ones that will stain the transfer, but as long as your silk screen is clean, you're good to go. And I have noticed that the newer paste formula, I think it stains a little. There's something different about between the transfers and the paste to where it does stain a little more often. That's kind of why I like to clean my transfers as I go. It tends to be a little less staining. And then the silk screen is a little easier to clean. Okay, so now that I have the front side mostly clean, with my board eraser, I'm going to take a disinfecting wipe. And I prefer I guess I shouldn't say that there's a brand because I use the Great Value one, so there's not really a brand. So I take a disinfecting wipe to the back side, and that kind of helps clean up all that fuzz and gets all of the paste off of the back side. There's a lot of fuzz. Plus, I just like to show how super easy it is to clean up when you're done. So if you're looking for a craft project that's quick, easy, and easy cleanup, these silk screen transfers are perfect for that. So you can leave them sticky side up like this to dry for about 5, 10, 15 minutes. But you've heard my spiel, because my sinks, my water source is on the other side of the basement, and I leave them to dry on a rack in there. I always forget. And then I leave them out for about a week, and that's really bad on the sticky part. So I've just tried to get into the habit of cleaning them as I go and then sticking them back on the backer sheet to dry. Ashley said, does the disinfecting wipe take the stain out? It doesn't make a difference. I think it just really helps with all of the fuzz that's on the back. I only use them on the back side. And I have heard people say that if some of your transfers have lost some of the sticky, to try a disinfecting wipe on the back, and it will help bring some of that sticky back. I don't know. I've also, I just do that because I was told that you weren't supposed to use the board eraser on the sticky side of the transfer, but also if you find something that works for you and your transfers still are sticky and useful, do what's most comfortable for you is kind of where I'm at. That's why when I first started, we always put them in water. So that's just always stuck, and it's the easiest for me to clean. So I'm just going to make sure this is dry. It should be pretty dry, but I think the board eraser actually, in my opinion, does the best at getting the stains out. Although, if the silk screen is stained, when I flip it over to clean the backside with the disinfecting wipe, it does kind of help get some of the paste out of the silk screen, especially if you have like this detailed silk screen right here. If the paste didn't come off with the board eraser, I do find that it comes off if I scrub the back of the silk screen with the disinfecting wipe. I hope that made some semblance of sense. I'm just going to it's dry. I'm going to have to go back in and fix that. Because I literally just took all of the paste off. But that's what we have so far. Come on in. Glad you're here. I have some burlap ribbon. Just going to put that there. And then I have these 2 grays. And I also have this little house. And I thought about, I was going to paint it white, but my friend Miss Ashley, who happens to be watching, got me hooked on this Waverly Antique Wax. It's technically a wax, but it makes a really pretty stained effect. If you watched me making the door tags, well, I didn't make the door, I stenciled this door tag, but I had pre-stained it with this Waverly antique wax. I also, let's see if I can find it. I also used it on these beads, and they are a little darker, but it's a really pretty faux stain. So I'm going to use that on this house. Mr. Jason said that looks great. Thank you. I think it does. I like the storm with the black. I figured I just love gray. It's one of my, if you can call it a color, it's one of my favorite colors. Mainly because it is such a neutral and it goes with everything. So let me find a paintbrush. This one isn't probably the best. I probably need a bigger brush, but Ashley says she loves her antique paint. So it's supposed to be like a sealer, but it works great as a faux stain. I probably should wear gloves, but I'll just get dirty. So I've already pre-punched the hole in this little house tag. I thought it would be cute to hang from the bow. And you just kind of paint it on and wipe it off. You can use a rag. You could use a wipe, like a baby wipe. Since I have to get in some of the nooks and crannies, I thought I would use a paintbrush. And this angled brush works pretty well to get into all those nooks and crannies. Can you even see? Yeah, you can see that. So what did everyone do over the weekend? I got this house at Walmart probably literally a couple years ago in the craft aisle. I've had it in my stash for forever. So let's take a quick break. I'm going to tear this in half because then I can put this on there. So then you just kind of wipe off any of the excess, kind of like you would stain. And it's a really pretty finish. So thanks, Miss Ashley. Check the edges. Okay, Bonita says she went to see her mom and had fun with Couture, stencils, and paste. She sent me a picture of what she did. It was super cute. She also came to my class on Saturday, and we had a lot of fun. She was the only one that came, which I am fine with, and she ended up getting the royal treatment. Okay, so let's get that dried. Oops, see a little pool of it in the corner. It'd be cute if there was a little, like you could chalk a little heart right here, or if we had a small enough transfer that said home or love or something, that would be really cute. I'm just going to try to dry this really quick. Here's you want to screenshot the tag. I'll leave it up for a little bit. You can screenshot the UPC and then the item number. If you didn't catch it then, you can always go back to the replay and snag the code. I don't know if I've seen them there recently. I've probably had it a couple of years. Okay, we'll let that continue to dry while we make our bow. I'm going to just wash my brush out real quick. That way I don't forget and end up with a hard brush. Let's throw that out. Okay, so let's shift gears, move that up there. I have to grab my bow maker, which is basically just my third hand. And while I'm up, grab a zip tie. Okay. So I think my bottom layer will be this burlap. But I think I need to wrap some burlap as well. But let's build our bow first. So I don't want it to be, that might be too big. Let's try this instead. That other stuff might be a bit too wide. I think that'll be better. Just trying to figure out the width. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut. I just folded this in half, so that'll get me basic width, and I want at least 2 of those. And then, so I have 2 of those. I have some of this just plain. It's kind of a gray burlap weave. I'm going to do it a little smaller. A little shorter, I should say. Then I have this gray buffalo check. I'm going to do it just slightly shorter. We'll see what that does. Okie doke. So I'm just going to kind of crease it at the halfway point. And I can kind of crease it in here too. Set for. So I just mainly use this mini bow dabber as my third hand because I have a hard time holding my bow together if I don't. And you can mix and match these ribbons. You don't, like you could put a gray one and then a gray check. I just like to keep my layers the same. But whatever floats your boat. Okay, so I have my little zip tie here. It's just pulling my burlap a little bit. Okay. So now I have my bow. And I'm just going to take this little zip tie around the back. I'm going to pull it tight, but not so tight that I can't manipulate my ribbon still. Because then I can kind of pre-fluff right now. get all these kind of where I want them. And then I can really tighten it. I kind of like to hold and pull. Which, yes, it smashes your bow, but okay, so then I'm going to take that little guy off, not with those. I don't want to damage my scissors. Okay. And then I'm just going to angle cut my ribbons. And I also want to make sure that my burlap on the bottom is my longest layer, and then this is my medium length layer, and then this one's going to be shorter. It's just kind of how I prefer to do it. That way it kind of gives your bow a little bit of depth. Jason says, love the ribbon choices, and Ashley says, love the ribbon choices. I think I got, well, I know I got all these at Hobby Lobby. Thank you. Here it is. This buffalo check, however, it frays a lot. So I'm just going to take this little lighter, which try not to burn my fingertip off. Almost got too small of a lighter. And you can just kind of singe the ends, and then these won't fray. Because these gray ones really, the gray buffalo plaid, it really frays. Okay, so we're going to throw away my scraps. And then I'm going to get my twine out. I'm going to wrap a little bit of twine around the bow just to hide the zip tie. And it kind of brings in that gray color, or the brown a little more. And I just keep fluffing. Okay. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bunch of twine and I'm just going to wrap. And I'm going to use a little more than normal just to give it some depth, because this is kind of thin twine. Probably didn't leave enough to tie my bow on. So I'm going to tie this tight. And I'm actually, because this part, I didn't get it as I want, I'm I'm going to take some of these tails and try to catch some of these other strands just to kind of connect it all together. And then I'm going to take this one the opposite direction. See if I can catch it. And then retie it in the middle. So that at least kind of keeps all of that connected. Okay, so then of course I probably should have tied my the house to this. Just try another piece. Now I'm just making stuff up as I go. Maybe we'll do it the other way. I'm going to leave a little bit longer tail to tie with. And I'll come up from the bottom. I don't like that either. I could get the tip of the roof back behind. Maybe that'll work better. Yeah, but you can't really tell it's a house now, but it looks better. What would happen if I stole some beads? Let's just steal some beads. Not a purple one. And then have it dangle, maybe. We'll see. I may just need 3. We'll get it figured out yet, folks. I think I just need some. It needs. Let's use this piece. I don't know what I'm doing, folks. Just crafting on a wing and a prayer. So I'm just going to make a little needle end. And I think I may just use 3 beads. But I'm still thinking. Oh wait, this is the long end. Did the wrong end or the wrong people. Let's see what this will look like. Okay, let's go through the other way. Okay, so I want to tie these 2 together. So I can kind of make a needle. So my beads will string onto both ends, or to both pieces of twine for both sides. I think that'll be much better. I think I just need two. Now, so now I've just tied a knot so that I have a little hanging loop. And hopefully that'll be enough length. So I've got it tied on to my base thread here. I'm still going to wrap this one with some jute to cover up the zip tie a little bit. Well, I'm not going to cut this yet because I'm not quite for certain how I want to attach it. And I might just okay. I only tied it loosely just because I was experimenting. So I think I'm going to thread because I still have two, just to make sure it's on good and secure. I'm going to thread these two tails through the back side. See if I can get this to work. This is probably overkill, but. And then bring the two top ones up, and I'm going to tie it this way. And then I'll just let those go free and unravel at their own will. And then let's flip this over and we'll just tie it just for some more stability back here. Whew. You may not be able to see smoke, but there is smoke coming out of my, that was too much thinking. Okay, so now let's give this a good fluff. And yeah, it's going to cover up some of my words, but that's okay. And let's take the detail tool and kind of help start to fray that. Okay. Well, for not knowing what I was going to do at 7 o'clock, I think it turned out fairly cute. So here is what it looks like with this little dangle. It does cover up the words a little bit, but that's okay. So there's that. Let's flip our camera back, and I will show you from the front. So that is what it looks like. Thank you, Miss Ashley. Thank you, Jason. I think it turned out cute. So well, I'll probably have to figure out how to add a hanger. Shouldn't be too hard. I can probably staple some twine here somewhere. Staple some twine so it can be a hanger, because I don't think it would be a very good leaner with this little dangle. So yeah, it look cute on somebody's door. Thanks, Bonita. I think it turned out really cute, especially for not knowing what I was going to do at 7 o'clock when I was going live at 7:15, 7:30. So there is that project. So fun. I just love working with paint sticks. They're a lot of fun. Okay, just want to remind you, of course, all of you get the Club Couture transfer, but those of you that may be watching the replay later, just keep in mind that there is about a week and a half left to get this month's Club Couture transfer, and the only way to get that is to be a Club Couture member or to be a designer. As a Club Couture member, you get exclusive B-size transfer. This month's transfer is this Farm Words. So it has the cute barn, the cute home, and then it has Home Sweet, Simply Blessed, and then it has a little windmill. And as a Club Couture member, you also get 3 paste single packets to go along with your transfer. This month's colors are Candy Apple, Eucalyptus, which Storm is one of the colors I used this evening. $19.99 a month delivered to your mailbox. There's a 3-month minimum commitment at the beginning, but there you can cancel at any time after that. Also, as a Club Couture member, you get $4.95 flat rate shipping, which is a heck of a deal. And you also get promos and deals as Chalk Couture rolls those out. And this month's Club Couture promo is the bunny transfer, the bunny cutout patterns transfer for 50% off this month. It's super cute. There are 2 bunnies that have some script inlay, and there are 2 bunnies that have kind of a floral pattern inlay. So that's a size C transfer that you get for 50% off. Also, if you have ever had the desire to become a designer, this might be the month to sign up. With your $99 plus shipping and tax investment, you get $240 retail value. But this month, as an extra incentive, you get the bird cutouts and the bird cutout pattern transfer for free in your kit, and that adds, I think, a $40 or a $50 value to your designer kit. So sign up this month if that's ever been something that you have thought about. With that, I'm going to sign off for the evening. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.